Right, okay, we're doing something a little different here. See, I had a feeling I wouldn't have much to say about these next two games, so what I've done is uploaded both reviews at the same time so that you guys can pick which one you want to watch, and to save waiting another 3 weeks for a 7-minute video. For this review, we'll be looking at The Legend of Korra. The Legend of Korra game, or as autocorrect calls it, The Legend of Korea. Yep, Korea certainly has a legend going on. It's based on a popular cartoon show that ran on Nickelodeon between 2012 and 2014, and is the successor to another Nickelodeon cartoon called Avatar: The Last Airbender. As a very basic summary, both shows were about people that are able to control, or as the characters refer to it, bending the elements of earth, fire, water, or air. The fabled Avatar is meant to be the only one capable of bending all of these elements together, maintaining balance in the world, and stopping those who use their bending for evil. That Avatar is Korra, who's a reincarnation of the main character from The Last Airbender, Aang. I'm not sure if that was a spoiler or not, because I've only seen the first 3 episodes of Avatar and haven't even touched The Legend of Korra. From what I've seen of Avatar's first season, I thought it was just alright. It's pretty to look at, I like the anime inspiration, but the story didn't immediately grab me. However, many others to this day still regard these two shows as not only one of the greatest cartoons on Nickelodeon, but one of the greatest cartoons of all time, so maybe I just need to give it a few more episodes. Now when it comes to the Legend of Korra game, we have one of the show's writers doing the story, and we're able to bend all the elements to our advantage just like in the show, so this could hold some promise. Shall we take a look and see what Platinum's done? Well, apparently the plot's meant to take place in between seasons 2 and 3 of the show, but as far as I can tell, there's not really much significance. After playing an annoying game of elemental gladiators, Korra's confronted by an old man who somehow strips away all of her bending abilities, and the whole game predominantly involves getting them back and finding out who the old man is. At the very end of the game, he's revealed to be an evil ancient named Hundun that was trapped in the spirit world but was released by Korra when she opened the spirit portals at the end of the 2nd season. So now Hundun just wants revenge on the Avatar, but in the end Korra defeats the bad guy and everything's back to normal. Man, that took less than 30 seconds to explain the story, but you see how unimportant this plot is? Was there any point trying to bridge a probably non-existent gap between 2 seasons? It's a pretty useless story and one that doesn't require a whole lot of thinking. It's just there to provide a reason for a game to exist, and that's it. And as for the gameplay, I gotta say, this is one of the most average games I've ever played in my life. It's a typical Platinum third-person brawler with various combos, though not as many as the Bayonetta games, and Korra can dodge out of the way and counterattack enemies when they flash red. Since Korra's now lost all of her bending abilities, we have to get them all back, but obtaining one of them seems to be really easily done when you're at those points in the game. You need to break these glowing jars to water bend again, earth bending requires you to counterattack a few times, to fire bend you need to land a high enough combo streak, and with air bending you have to dodge numerous attacks at the last possible moment. Well, I've been doing all those things plenty of times even with no bending involved, so why can I only get them back one at a time at very specific moments? Just for plot convenience? That's so lazy. Each of the elements can only be leveled up by defeating enemies and gaining experience points, unlocking new combos and increasing your chi meter, which after holding one of the attack buttons charges up your bending so that you hit harder for a short time. Water bending can be used for long range attacks, earth bending is used for close quarters and has a slower rate but deals more damage, fire bending lets you attack really quickly, while air bending is used for crowd control. This sounds like the game could require a bit of strategy by using different bending for the right situations, but not only aren't elemental weaknesses a thing, some bending abilities are simply way more useful than others, hence in point the air bending. This does a lot of damage, can be used both up close and far away, and hits damn near anything around Korra as opposed to one enemy. Other than fully leveling up all of the abilities, there's very little reason to go back to any of them once you've unlocked air bending, and thus challenge is completely out the window. I reckon you could probably use it to get some easy pure platinum medals too, especially since you don't have to worry about getting hurt anymore, which is good because Legend of Korra will have no problem kicking your ass from time to time. Whether it's a bunch of enemies dogpiling you or the constantly recycled 3 bosses, 2 if you don't count these 3 jackasses as a boss fight, you will die a lot in this game. Now you're able to equip certain accessories to make the journey a little easier. I think it'd be damn near impossible without this one that slowly regenerates your health, but that means you've got to save up a lot of dough to buy all these added combos and items. The money does stack up though even after you die, so I guess you could just grind in one spot, die, and keep doing the same thing until you purchase everything. Other than fighting a bunch, Korra will summon her companion Naga a few times to reach her next destination, and they're pretty standard on-rail segments. You move Naga left or right, jump over obstacles, and use firebending to destroy everything in your way. Yup, nothing interesting to talk about here. And that may be the best way to describe this entire game. It's just plain uninteresting. Maybe it's because I'm reviewing a bunch of these spectacle fighters in a row and I'm burned out, but graphically for Korra, the cell shading's nice and the character models are spot on. However, the environments are pretty bland, and with the lack of expressions or even mouth movement, this looks ripped right out of a PS2 game. I love the animated cutscenes, but most of them only last a few seconds and then it's back to the gameplay, so it just seems like a waste. Can't say anything about the music because it's too generic, and the combat's passable but nothing amazing. Despite all the criticisms I've made though, I actually found Anarchy Reigns to be a worse game. There may not be as much variety as the Bayonetta games with the two of them, but with Korra using different bending abilities to aid her, that adds slightly more variety to the combat. Anarchy Reigns, on the other hand, locked away the variety to different characters that you rarely got to play as unless you were doing multiplayer, so most of the time you were stuck with 2 characters for 3 hours each with very similar move pools. I've played far worse games than The Legend of Korra, but it's still rather boring to play for how unimaginative it is, and it seems that both critics and fans of the show feel the same way. The only saving grace is that it's a mercifully short 4-hour campaign. It does insist I replay it because I've unlocked some extra stuff, but too late, I'm already turning off the PS4 and deleting this from my hard drive later. Well, this was a pretty rocky start for Platinum and licensed cartoon games, but this wouldn't be the only one they do, as in 2015 we got another game based on an existing cartoon, Transformers Devastation. I've already uploaded this video, so if you guys are interested, I'll see you then. Otherwise, I hope I'll catch you next time for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Mutants in Manhattan. See you later. And whatever you do, ladies and gentlemen, if you are planning to play this game, don't buy it for $15, just don't.